If you like Broly, pick up the Broly I'm Canon merchandise line over on the Geekdom 101 store. I'll leave a link in the description. One of my absolute favorite pieces I ever released, and you can get it in various different styles, t-shirts, hoodies, v-necks, whatever you want, and in different colors and different sizes. Ships anywhere in the world. The best Broly merch ever. Get it today. We are just a few weeks away from Dragon Ball Super Superhero, and the hype is beginning to build. We still don't have definitive answers about what's going to happen in this film, who's going to fight who, what the finale is. I've revealed some things in my streams that I was told, but even I don't have the whole movie. I haven't seen it for myself, so even though you might hear things, you really don't know. But what I want to talk about today is I want to talk about, let's just go right to it, okay? The top rumor right now is that Cell is the lead villain of this film. We know that Broly's in the movie. I want to talk about what would happen if we saw Broly versus Cell in this film. And here's why. Because for years, even before Dragon Ball Super Broly and Dragon Ball Super Superhero, people have debated on Cell versus Broly back in Z. Because Broly's first movie came out relative to the time the Cell games was beginning. So you would think that's like a relative power. And so that's been a debate for a long time based on how Broly did whatever. But now we may actually see the fight on the big screen. So I'm joined by Uchi over here. What's up from the Full Power Podcast?
What's going on? It's a pleasure to finally be here.
I think you were here before.
Coming.
I think you were here before. Was you here? Weren't you here once before?
Never. I would know. This is my first time.
I could have sworn I talked to you about Broly once. Are you sure?
Trust me.
Maybe it was Jack's Blade.
It definitely wasn't me. But hey, right. I'm here now. I got the shirt on. Got to rep the boy. So
yeah, well,
what's
you're
up?
The Broly guy. Yeah. All right.
I am.
So
Absolutely.
We're talking about Dragon Ball Super Broly's Broly, and he's training with Goku and Vegeta. You know, we had a conversation over on your channel where we discussed the film, and actually I did plug that in my community tab, but I will plug it again down below. So if you haven't heard that, it's like a 2-hour podcast talking about the movie, and we discussed the possibility of Goku, Vegeta, and Broly coming in at the end, and we had this good conversation about will they steal the show, and the answer is probably, because when Goku, Vegeta, and Broly show up, Gohan goes to the back seat, bro. It's just, you know, what can you do? It's just how it is. But if they do show up, and if Cell is the villain, Broly versus Cell, I don't think Cell's just gonna absorb him. I don't think it's gonna go right down like that. I think Broly could rage out and lose control again, and it could be a situation. Now, I would love it if this happened. I'm gonna hit you with a wacky story. Broly rages out again, and then Goku and Vegeta have to fuse again to make Gogeta, and Gogeta and Broly go off to fight somewhere else, and we're left with the Gohan Cell fight, and then the whole time we're in the movie theater like, can you cut to the other fight, please? And we're going to be stuck on this fight. That's Toriyama trolling 101, bro. The whole fight happens off screen. And then later on, Whis is like, when the fight's over, Whis is like, that was the most amazing thing I've ever seen. Oh my, like, you know, he puts it over, like doing that Simpsons comedy, but, so how do you think it's going to go down?
So just like how you kind of started this off, right? Saying like, as soon as a few characters like Goku, Vegeta, just to name those two, because they are the show stealers, right?
The lead.
We were talking, like we were talking on my podcast on how like that is something that they can't do. Because if they do that, then all this buildup for Gohan and Piccolo, it just wouldn't make sense with how they're kind of delivering this narrative to the fans and what to expect and all of the seeds that have been planted. Like just with looking at how Gohan is back to his original look, the hairstyle is there and everything like that. Like they got androids with Gamma 1, Gamma 2. It's just like it really is lining itself up for it to be Cell as this big bad surprise at the end. And however this grand big end scene happens, how you were saying how like it's believed that there's going to be like a huge fight amongst like kind of like reminiscent to I think what was it, the battle of, no, it wasn't
like,
battle,
like Resurrection F, when you had a bunch of people fighting. Yeah, right.
Yeah, so like whether that happens or
in them.
Right.
Yeah.
So like, and then, you know, despite all that happening, you know, I'm sure people are also like throwing in there, like we might see like a father-daughter or some type of family Kamehameha or something to just bring it back to that the whole nostalgic thing, because again, like Cell, we both talked about this and agreed that Cell is the last of the nostalgia trip, like the one of the last big things. Like I'm not even gonna include Cooler in there because
and they're bringing in Cell and the Red Ribbon Army, which is also nostalgic for Dragon Ball, both in one shot.
Right. So for what it's worth, I mean, yeah, like Red Ribbon and Cell in one movie, and then it's Gohan centric, Piccolo right there with them. They're both getting power ups. Like this is another big, lasting hurrah nostalgia trip for the fans, and just to kind of just to solidify more people that are just going to be watching this movie. But when it comes down to the possibility of Broly versus Cell, I think that personally, I feel like even as the Broly guy, it wouldn't even make sense. It wouldn't make sense for it to happen just because of everything else that they're setting up. Because we do see in the trailer, Broly looks like fighting against Beerus, and
unless that was trailer trickery, which it could be. It could very well be trailer trickery.
Yeah, it could be, and it would be a nice little surprise if like the three of them, like Goku, Vegeta, and Broly, decided to just show up during this fight. And if Broly did end up fighting Cell, I feel like something along the terms of like what you were saying could happen, where he would rage out. Like it's almost like they would treat Cell as like one of Broly's first like opponents, like a trial phase. Like, all right, Broly, let's see how you do against Cell. Like,
right.
Like he does well at first, right? But then, as the fight goes on, you know how Broly is, man. Like he just starts getting stronger and he starts losing, his composure and all that, and then he snaps and full power or whatever is beyond after that, right? But the one thing I wanted to throw out there that I didn't even think could possibly happen, that I don't even know. I mean, this is just all we're just thinking at this point. But like, imagine if Cell tried to absorb Broly.
Yeah, I mentioned that a minute ago. Yeah, like I don't think he's gonna be able to, but because I feel like this Cell, I have to be careful what I say. I think that this Cell, because of the technological upgrades of Red Ribbon, might function differently. I do think he's going to absorb Gamma 1 and 2 if it is Cell, but absorbing anybody, like when Cell absorbed Kid Goku in GT and was like orgasming out over the power he got, like something like that, that would be a good comedy scene, right? But there's only so many minutes of this movie. Now, do you think, and we talked about this a little bit, and I'm still very torn on it, because if Gohan is the lead of this film, Piccolo being number 2, and then Goku, Vegeta, and Broly show up, they're going to just steal the show because they're Goku, Vegeta, and Broly. People are going to be pointing at them in the movie theater saying, we want Ultra Instinct, we want Ultra Ego, we want Broly to rage out, I want Gogeta, we want all these things. And if they're just in their base forms fighting, people are going to be like, oh, that's it? But at the same time, if you leave them out of the fight entirely, just training on Beerus' planet, you're also going to have fans who are going to feel like they weren't satisfied, especially the Vegeta fans who are going to complain and say, "Oh, he's on the sidelines, he's not even in this movie." And a lot of people think that Broly, Vegeta, and Goku are not going to be in the main fight; that they're just training Broly. There's talk of people think it's one scene where they're training and you never see him again for the rest of the movie. I don't know about that. I don't know about that, but I also feel like leaving them out is weird and also ballsy. It's also very ballsy because these are 3 of the most popular characters ever, and you're not going to feature them. They must really have a lot of faith in Gohan, bro. That's all I can think of. They must really have a lot of faith in Gohan fans coming out for this one.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's just like you said, like those 3 characters are obviously some of the most popular, and if you do feature them in any way, fans are going to have an expectation. They're going to want to see them fighting. They're going to want to see them, get empowered up and whatnot, and like possibly show something that we maybe never seen before. But the fact of the matter is that yes, they're finally going back to Gohan, putting more stock into Gohan. I think that's better for the longevity of how long the show is going to be around for, through the manga and through the anime when that eventually comes back, and all the future films that I'm sure are going to come in the years later down the road and all that stuff. Like, I think it is important that they start setting up for characters like Gohan and then some to be given that kind of same limelight, so that way people can add Gohan to that list of, popular characters that, like, if you see them, you're gonna have that expectation. Because right now it's just been like, anytime Gohan is ever mentioned, it's always like, oh man, like, look at Gohan now. Exactly, he's a mid card, bro. Like, he doesn't have, there's no TNT title, there's no IC, there's nothing. He has no belt, and he hasn't had a belt since Cell, and that's why this movie exists. Is exactly
to
that.
Reclaim his birthright. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I feel the same way you do, and I almost feel like it would be refreshing to see that. But I'm thinking, because here's one thing I don't like, bro. I hate when I review something and I have an opinion and then people disagree with it for the wrong reasons. Now, I know that sounds weird to say, but like, the problem with Dragon Ball fans, and this is not everyone, but a lot of them, is they have their favorite character, and because of that, they wank said character off more than they should be wanked. So if a movie does not have Vegeta in it, Vegeta fans are going to say it's a terrible movie, it sucks. Or if it doesn't have enough Broly, Broly fans might say, well, we wanted more Broly. Why can't it be like the last Broly movie, even though it's not about him? Like, just like how when Broly came out, there was no Gohan, and what happened? The Gohan fans bitched. Why couldn't he be in the movie? And so, like, you just... I think it's gotten so big, bro, that you cannot please everyone. No matter what happens in this movie, dog, I feel like people are going to be let down. A group of fans are going to love it, and a group of fans are going to hate it just based on some like surface level bullshit. You know what I mean? Instead of actually looking at the story. If this movie has a really good story, a character arc for Gohan and Pan, and that's what we get, and some good fights, I'm going to enjoy that more than just cheap fan service, than even seeing Broly versus Cell. Because Broly versus Cell sounds like fan service. But like it does.
Yes.
Right?
It does.
No, it does.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it'd be a pretty cool fight to see, especially with these powers. Like, imagine Cell knowing all these powers fighting Broly. It's almost like Broly versus Granola, which we're not going to get that probably, but who the hell knows? But what I was going to say was, it's tough, but I feel like if this is a good story, I don't give a shit if Goku, Vegeta, and Broly have one scene in the whole movie. If that one scene is them training Broly, then what they're telling the audience is, and I already know this for a fact. I know this for a fact, and you do too, but the audience still needs reassurance. We got plans for these three characters, whether it be another Broly movie at Arc. They're not going to have these guys training together and not give you a payoff down the road. It wouldn't make sense for them to ever do that. And there are some things in Super that never got paid off. So modern Dragon Ball does do that once in a while, but I don't think they would keep featuring them if they weren't plans. So I think I'm okay with them being on the back burner. So I would be fine if there was no Broly versus Cell, but I saw some people talking about it. And I just thought I'd make a video because, okay, yes, would I want to see that fight? Sure, but it's almost like seeing Broly versus Jiren. To me, bro, I like Dragon Ball when there's a reason for people to fight. If they're just going to do the fight for fan service, like, you got to give us an angle, bro. Give me a reason for them to fight, A tournament or an evil threat or Broly rages out in Universe 11. Something. Come up with something. Right, and then at least I have a reason to see him fight instead of just booking the match with no build-up. It doesn't. I don't know, man. I just feel like if we're ever gonna see Broly versus Cell, the only way I think that should happen is if Cell survives this movie, right, and then later on they could do that in a future movie. You know what I mean? Like, they could do it that way.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like, look, and you have me on here for a reason. I'm the Broly man. I'm the dude who's always loving Broly. But like you said before, like, fans gotta practice what I'm about to say, right? Is that y'all gotta be a little bit more realistic with your favorites, okay? And I will say this, Broly, right, being like my favorite character, and I'm talking about the super version, right? This dude, I didn't expect to be in this film at all. Okay, like,
me neither, me neither.
At first I was like, oh, there's no way, like, I'm totally cool with that, because
actually, wait, that's not true. I was told he was going to be in movies, but I didn't know it was going to be this one. But no, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. Like,
I guess it was.
I saw like how they were like releasing the information like in slow bits, like, you know, from the first teaser all the way to the months preceding after that. And I was like, you know what? Like this doesn't seem like Broly would have any kind of place in it. And I'm all right with that
It's almost
because
like a cameo.
yeah, like if they have a direction for what they have, then let it rock, you know? Like I don't need, like it would be nice, but like if he was going to just be inserted just to be inserted, then you know, we might as well just turn on Super Dragon Ball Heroes because that's the only kind of realistic part for to even see
nailed
Broly
it.
versus Cell. You know what I'm saying?
You're right.
So
That is a
that's
Dragon Ball Heroes type of situation, and
absolutely.
the movie's only 80 minutes long, bro. If they have to
Oh
focus,
wow.
80 to 90 minutes is what I was told. So like, no, I'm
Okay.
sorry, 80 to 90 minutes. So like and that's not that short. It's plenty of time to tell a story. An hour
Right.
and a half. It's an hour and a half. So like they can't just do like a 20-minute Cell versus Broly fight in the middle of the movie, bro. Like the movie fights are gonna go by fast. It's not gonna be like the anime where we gotta wait week after week
Yeah.
after week. So it's just different. That's why I always say that Dragon Ball works better as a series versus movies because there's too many characters and there's always something going on. You imagine if they took like Breaking Bad or like Lost and try to make it into one movie, bro, with that many characters, it's impossible. And Dragon Ball's gotten to that point now where it's like we can see these movies for fun, but the real shit's gonna be the long form storytelling. That's just the way it is, bro. People hate me when I say that, but it's true. Anyways, check out Uchi right over there. I will leave a link to the Full Power podcast down below. We talked a lot more about Broly and other topics that he has on his thing. So go over there. Bye.